So again, good evening and welcome to this panel. Just to set the context, so what's happening in the country today, some positive developments. I'm not referring to the India-Canada controversy, but the recently concluded G20 summit. It was branded a huge success, and the statistics are all very, very attractive. 60 meetings which were conducted across 60 cities. There were more than 1 crore people who were associated. Sorry? Oh, okay. So I was talking about G20 and the success of G20. Some amazing statistics, data. 60 meetings across 60 cities. There were more than 1 crore people, 1 crore people who were associated either directly or indirectly with this summit. And there was a lot which went into the background, which contributed to the success in terms of India showcasing its technology superiority, especially the digital public infrastructure, which was showcased and demonstrated there in the G20 summit, was a huge success. The icing on the cake was that joint declaration which India came out with, and it's not an easy joke, right? 20 countries coming out with a consensus, and I'm not quite sure how many people have gone through that, that declaration, that note. It's about 37 pages, so wonderfully worded, I would say. So wonderfully worded, and I was a little, doubtful whether it was passed through ChatGPT because the wordings and the grammar and the English was so kind of wonderful. But having said that, G20 we signed off with great success. So India has come onto the center stage, and data has come onto the center stage. So what is to look forward to now? We have the ODI World Cup coming up next month. And information from BCCI is that they are on the lookout for some chief data officers. Because today cricket is driven largely by data, right? So they are looking for people who can help them in using data and ensuring India wins this World Cup. But having said that, you talk of data being the new, those cliches. Data is the new oil, data is the new currency, data is the new electricity. I think, last month if I had moderated the same session, I would have said tomato is the new oil, tomato is the new currency, I would have said. But having said that, the volume of data which we seem to be capturing has exponentially kind of gone up. And I would say November 2022 was a watershed in the technology revolution in terms of the generative AI. And what we're really looking at this point in time is the tip of the iceberg in terms of the total, the potential and the power of the new technology. But how is it viewed in organizations? Is data being viewed as an asset in the organization? Does the CFO really have a deep knowledge of the infonomics of data? How is it being treated? How is a data-driven organization, how is it being driven in the organization, right? The data culture in the organization where the CFOs have to play a very, very major role. A lot of these questions in terms of challenges is in data management and so on. The icing on the cake ultimately would be for me, the crowning glory, should I say, would be the day when data is recognized as an asset and it appears in your balance sheet, in your financial books, on the asset side of your asset and liabilities, and it is treated as an asset, both as per US GAAP and then Indian GAAP also. That day is not there, but I think the day is still not far off. We'll probably ask the CFOs, what their opinion is. So having said this, let's open up the conversation. The first thing is, as I said, data is playing a very major role. Let's start from this itself. There's no particular order. Let me start with you, Abhinav. How is, Abhinav comes from Farmeezy, and I was talking to Abhinav, and I said I'm a very, very regular customer of Farmeezy, right? How is data being viewed in your organization? How critical is this asset called data, right? How is it helping you to be, driving innovation in your organization? Some thoughts on that. Let's go around and then, ask the others also quickly on this. Just a kind of an opening remarks on this.
So I represent Farm Easy, and at Farm Easy, we are tech first company. Uh, so we are using data significantly in everything what we do. And to start with, like we start demand projection. So we have strong science working on data that give me demand of each and every pin code of and there are multiple variables like which all pin code will have which all medicines requirement and at what period of time. Based on that, we store medicine at our warehouses. And based on that, we are able to serve 90% of the order within 3 hours. If we can, if we are present in that vicinity. So that's the science we are using. And it's not just demand projection, like even in customer servicing, customer care, in every field we use significantly. And like earlier, gone were the days when IT was a separate division. Now IT is part of each and every function, like be it finance, HR, marketing, or whatever. And these guys, or the analytics or tech guy, they work with finance, they understand finance, and they give insight to finance based on data, and this help in in various ways. Like we know which all customer have good track record based on their frequency of orders, based on their what we say payment schedules and all. This way, it is helping each and every function. And like one
But do
thing,
you also work with your pharmacies also? Because
yeah,
data helps in identifying what should be the stock levels, replenishment levels, and so on.
correct. So see, again, replenishment level and all, these are the like with everyone in the industry. It's not like we are unique in this, but like I always say these things. Like earlier, there used to be a pyramid of demand, which is now changing, and now it is taking shape of diamond, where the bottom of the pyramid is now, earlier it used to be a commodity, whereas in current situation, the bottom of the diamond is what you say luxury, rest all is commodity. And if you are in commodity, you need to ensure the margins are very thin. And whatever inefficiencies that are there in the system, you have to remove them. Otherwise, you will not be able to sustain. To eradicate inefficiencies, you need to have strong insight from the data. That, of course, that will help you in predicting the demand and all. On top of it, it will help you in hindsight, which all things that are breaking in your channel. And this way, you will become efficient and efficient over a period of time.
Kathy? How does it work in your organization?
I'll actually take your example where you say, the stock levels, the replenishments and all.
Yeah.
So what happens is, earlier we used to look at certain kind of data and see, okay, what should be the stock levels, what is the minimum order level, inventory levels and all of that. But with the increasing volume and value of data, I think we're putting more analytical to understand what is the more optimum level, right? Because we want to kind of keep optimizing, bring more efficient. I think data is now playing a major role where we are thinking that, okay, what are the consumer buying behaviors? Looking at those buying behaviors, the changing buying behaviors, right? We are now able to say, okay, then what is the stock level, right? So over the years, making this data more qualitative, slicing it, putting more analytics into it, I think you're right when you say that we kind of, even the simple processes like stock replenishment and all, we kind of bring of more efficiencies, and that is how people are now valuing data even more than they would earlier, right? Again, understanding consumer behaviors on sales, understanding the sentiments of people. I think more and more data is being valued in the organization. so that we could make more informed decisions. We could bring more efficiencies in the entire
Absolutely.
operational
Understanding,
process.
customer insights better, their behaviors better, and then, devising strategies accordingly. Yep. So Sambasivam comes from Tata Play, and that's an industry where I was just talking to him. I was saying whether you will still have the DTH model, because if you look at the customer preferences, especially the trend you see in the urban areas, right? Urban and even semi-urban areas today, where the trend seems to be more on going in for OTT, platforms, right? You have whether you have Hazar kind of service providers for that. You get broadband plus the OTT channels, and what will be the future of the DTH? But he had a very strong. He said, you still have the rural, the semi-urban, rural population still using DTH, and that's only growing stronger. Very interesting insights, of course. So how's data going to play a role now? How is it playing a role now?
Yeah.
And how do you see that moving forward in the OTT era?
Correct. So I'll give an example. We have a monthly review by our managing director, which happens once every month. This is almost a 5-6 hour kind of event where we are a 1600 strong organization. The top maybe 35-40 people assemble in a room. Now during COVID it used to be virtual, and we assemble in a room, and we have this review by our MD. Each and every function presents their what you can say results. So this, I don't think there are any PowerPoint slides in that. There are only dashboards. In that entire presentation, you will see only Tableau dashboards. And suddenly my managing director will say, okay, tell me what happened in the last 1 week. Okay, can we see what has happened in the same time last month, the same 1 week? Let's see, okay, what happened in the last year, same time. So all are live, you can actually do all these things while the
Just a follow-up
meeting is
question on
happening.
this, Sambasivam, is because you said data visualization through Tableau, tools or whatever. The way you're saying is probably your management has also learned the art of asking questions. One of the success factors for analytics is to develop that culture and the art and the skill and the competence in the organization to be asking questions when you look at data. That's a very, very important competence that you learn. You could have the best of the dashboards,
Yeah.
but people have to start sniffing the intelligence out of the data.
It is never a presentation. The slide is put there, and I don't think people speak. Then people just stare at the screen for 1 or 2 minutes and then start asking questions.
Oh, okay.
So
So
it's
they
not,
start
there is
asking
no,
questions.
so you
So
look
the
at
success of analytics is learning to get your management guys, your N-1, to start really looking at and sniffing the intelligence by asking them, train them to ask questions. And analytics journey, your analytics thing will be automatically a success.
Yeah.
Right?
The second, I would say, data point is that within finance, I would say that there are maybe as many engineers and data scientists put together as there are qualified chartered accountants. So which is, I think, a telling statement. So we have more data scientists and more, what you can say, engineers who can write codes, who know Python, who can write SQLs, who can actually do most of the IT jobs. Except for very big projects, all the other reports, everything is all locally generated from our team.
Okay.
Yeah. So these two.
Yogesh? Yogesh from Muthoot Finance?
So for us, we are basically in BFSI. We are in BFSI sector, and we are a part of Muthoot Group. So in fact, in Muthoot, data is of such a large importance for us is that because we have to always keep on looking for cross-sell opportunities. We have a multi-product company. We are having an insurance. We are having a forex business. So this data, the customer data, has a lot of value for us because we can offer them multi-products. So we are using this data to offer a solution to the customer where we can fulfill all his needs, and that helps us. I mean, because we always track the performance of each company, how much cross-sell they have been able to do, and that is a benchmark.
You're able to also very clearly pinpoint the value of data and the additional revenue in terms of the growth that it has contributed.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, unless it offers you a additional means of revenue or a business opportunity, That signifies that we are not using data efficiently. So yeah.
So the next round of question is, when I was there in my earlier employment, I used to have some regular discussions and even arguments with my CFO. Because when it came to downsizing of the organization, whenever the business is down through a kind of a down cycle, they will say you'll have to cut down your people and all that. And I used to say, the first thing is I think the finance folks have to cut down the people, right? So I used to say, so the question here is, right, let me start from this side now. As a CFO, what is your plan, blueprint for a finance transformation? How do you view the transformation within your finance function? How do you leverage data to transform your finance function? And I used to say, please look at transforming, and you have to run a finance function like a fintech company. Right? Your thoughts on this?
Yeah. So, I mean, so right now, I mean, we are using multiple tools, I would say, because there won't be any, I mean, we use Power BI, we are also using a couple of other software to do an data analysis. So, I mean, when it comes for a transformation, so what I have seen that maybe 5-10 years back when we used to make a board presentation, we used to present a balance sheet, the schedules. Right now, no one is interested in looking at it. They can just see it in the first page, what is your P&L, how it's growing, and they want to know more on the data. I mean, how you are, I mean, in terms of financial services, how is your delinquency, which state, which sector, which product is you are able to sell, at what yield you are selling, how you are managing the delinquency, how you are pushing that product, what is your ranking in those particular states. Are you far behind the competition? Are you up against the competition? So these are the data points, peer-to-peer comparison. So possibly right from the traditional accounting, now we are more data centric. So possibly, I mean, when we make a presentation of maybe 20-25 slides, we had to mine the data which could run into 100 slides. So I mean, this is a analysis which we have to do to make a meaningful presentation.
No, just a devil's advocate I'm playing. As a CEO, I'm just playing the role play here. I'm the CEO. I'm saying, Yogesh, in the next 12 months, you will have to cut down your manpower by 50%. And I can give you whatever, budgets in terms of technology. You want to use more technology, data, analytics, and all that. Will you be game to this challenge which the CEO throws to you? I mean,
yes, to some extent. Yeah, I mean, not, but yes, 10% manpower reduction is quite possible. Yeah.
Anyway, so Sambasiva?
Yeah, I'll start by saying that we are about a 16-year-old company. We started in 2006. When I joined the company, it was 2013. I spent I've completed 10 years in this organization, the startup play. So I am happy to say that in 2013, the number of people I had is almost the same number of people which I'm having today as well, despite the business growing, say, maybe 4 times, maybe, yeah. So to that extent, yes, there has been some finance transformation. Some of the data points on that is that we are able to close the books with insights and send to the board of directors on the first day of the month.
Oh, that's good. That's a good.
Not first working day, first day of the month since last 4 years now.
Oh.
And we have been able to close the year-end accounts and get the accounts audited and approved by the board by the 8th of April, 8th of the end of the year, which is again not the first time. We have been ready 3 years in a row. Once we couldn't do it because of COVID, so otherwise we would have done in 2020 as well. We were ready on 8th of April with the audited with one of the big 4. And some other data point is that with all these things, we were able to maintain a work-life balance because of the level of digital transformation. and our employee engagement score of finance function, which was 52 when the company score was 71 in 2013. This is done once every 2 years. So we have, since my joining, there are 5 such assessments which have been done. There's an employee satisfaction survey or employee engagement score, which is an elaborate study once every 2 years. So we were 52 in 2014, and now last year we were 91 when the company was 79. I think. Yeah, 79 or 77.
So your finance transformation journey continues. You've
Continues.
already
It-
done and you're still looking
still
forward
continues
to.
and still there's a lot
technology is going to play a very major role
Yeah, we use
in the future
AI/ML in a
also.
very, very big way. We use RPA, AI/ML. These are all very normal terms, and we have been doing this. I think my first RPA bot was done in 2017. We have some case studies of our bots in Gartner study.
Wow, very good.
So we have. I think we are maturing enough in.
Very good, very good.
Yeah, thanks.
Kathy, what about yours?
Like he said, transformation never ends. That's true for my organization also. So over the years, we've started collating so much data, putting into place so many business solutions which are available, whether they are integrated with our core ERP or not, just to kind of slice so much of data which will then help us to bring efficiencies, like I said, in reporting, analytics, and a lot of other things, right? Which is very important because of the changing landscapes. So continuous transformation happens, from web-based to app-based to cloud-based, and now you have AI coming up and all. So continuously the team is gearing up with the change management that, okay, how do we change? How do we level up? Because there is an increasing need from the business also on these data and insights, right? So if I cannot partner or cater as a strategic advisor to them, then the overall function fails, right? So continuous development we are doing and tying up with a lot of ERP. Yes, it has a lot of investment which we have to put, but when you see the results it gives, I think we have a lot of culture and management buy-in that yes, we should more and more, invest in these kind of technologies.
Abhinav, my question, let's go to the next round of questions. A very interesting topic on data monetization. I heard one of those speakers there also talking about data monetization in terms of indirect monetization and then direct monetization. What are your views in PharmEasy? How do you look at data monetization? Are you directly monetizing data? And for people who attended the tech part there, I was also talking about monetization where you develop solution. When I say data here, when I say data monetization, that includes, the definition of data here is just not data. It could be raw data, it could be massage data, it could be insights, it could be analytics, it could be software products, it could be software solutions, services, whatever, all put together.
We are using a lot of data internally also for demand projections and various stuff. Apart from that, we are building a lot of insight and we are working with various pharma companies. On top of it, see, the most important use of data that we are doing is for cross-selling. We know this particular medicine is of diabetes, and if these products can be sold in combination to these medicines, and that way it is helping us in pushing our own private label. This way it is helping us in pushing good or giving good combination to the customer, and that way helping us in increased AOV per customer. Customers are also satisfied because they are getting good package at a very reasonable value, and we are also educating the customer on medicine usage as well. So that way it is win-win situation for everyone. And apart from that, it is helping me in my unit economics also, because AOV is also increasing, my margins are also improving. And it is helping pharma companies also in cutting inefficiencies at their end. So it's an entire package for everyone in the entire ecosystem. from end customer to the pharma companies.
No, but
everyone.
is there a scope for you to expand your data monetization landscape? I'll give an example. If you go to the PharmEasy app, mobile app or net banking, I mean your website, yeah. If you are able to provide some insights, some very, very specialized kind of insights in the form of reports. I'm seeking for some medicines. You say, if you are able to pay me a little more, I mean, you charge for it because that's where monetization comes. I will give you some very rich insights into the efficacy of this medicine, how many people, of course, with anonymizing the data. You're not revealing the individual thing from a data privacy perspective. Will you not be able to generate more revenues? Is there a scope for it?
So we are doing with pharma companies.
Okay.
We are already doing with pharma companies.
But not for B2C.
Not for B2C. We are doing it for pharma companies from last 3.5, 4 years.
Okay, you're monetizing that,
Yes.
correct? So they will have to pay for it.
100%.
Okay. So I was saying some opportunities even from a B2C perspective also.
As of now, we believe that customer are not looking for it as such, but we are giving them in form of what we say analysis that we are doing based on data in form of articles and all, and that we are giving completely free of cost in educating customers how to work on his health or how he can improve his health in current landscape.
Okay. Any other thoughts from the other speakers on monetization before we get to the next, because of the time?
What we have started doing is investing in direct and indirect kind of data monetization. So getting through a lot of consumer surveys on social media, otherwise, getting those insights, because when you are in a hair care or a skincare business, that data we then use to generate certain kind of queries on social media or on the portal, where a consumer goes and answers certain questions, right? It's a questionnaire. And then there are products, because it's a professional beauty product, right? There are products which are then suggested to the customers that, okay, you have this type of issue or concern, okay, then this type of product will best suit you. But we start with gathering what are the basic concerns or what people are looking out for, like the personalization. Then you kind of create a portal or a questionnaire. Then when the consumers go in for an online consultation, so they get a consultation for which we charge like a fee or a premium. And then they have customized products which they can use for their concerns. And then we have feedback, which again, we use it to, kind of modify and customize this questionnaire even better. So there is an input also and there's an output also which we gain, right?
Okay.
So that's how the overall environment works for us.
When you, yeah, we do lot of what you can say data profiling of customers based on their, for example, what are the channels which you have purchased, what are the packages which you are looking at, what's the kind of behavior, the viewership behavior. Through OTT, we will get a lot of usership behavior. So what we do is that we have identified, say, let us say more than 100 parameters, and we have identified a group of customers based on the actual data. Then based on their viewership pattern, then we find some other which are fitting into that kind of a segment. Then we find, okay, they are not subscribing to a particular channel or a particular content, which the other group which is using.
It's a
it. Then
typical
we use it,
recommendation system. This
So
is.
which we consistently use. So our, what you can say, our hit rate on these kind of conversions are quite heavy, which is beyond the normal thing, because we are able to do that kind of 100 profiling of the data, and when we go to the other set of customers, we are able to monetize it very quickly. So we were able to consistently increase the, what you can say, the wallet share of the customers. I wouldn't call it data monetization. It's more like data analytics being used for
No,
enhancing
monetization from an
revenues.
indirect perspective. Indirect
Indirect
monetization is you do it internally and you are able to put a number to it in terms
yeah,
of saying,
which we
by
consistently
doing
monitor,
so,
yeah.
this is what has been the
Yeah,
benefit.
so every
You
year
put a money
we
to it.
find that we are able to enhance the value from a customer is what
Let's
we
shift
provide.
gears now. I mean, there's a lot which has been discussed on generative AI. How do you see generative AI? And I'm sure, a lot of organizations have already implemented a lot of AI solutions. I mean, just to give you some, we were processing about 10,000 invoices every day. And the problem we had was we had a lot of suppliers calling up following up for their payments and, what's happened to their supplies, what has happened to their invoices they've submitted, and so on and so forth. So we had a bot out there. It was a chatbot, and the chatbot would give all that information to those thousands of suppliers we had, right? So overnight, those calls to the finance guys or the purchase guys, overnight it kind of tapered down, I would say, right, over a period of time. So we started using. Now you have this new animal called generative AI. How do you see that disrupting your finance function? Any idea?
So let me tell you this way. Earlier, like when we started, we were posting entries in the system and all those stuff. Today, suppliers are sending me invoice on email. System is fetching those invoices, putting entry in the system. Or once GRN is done, those are actually approved and up for payment based on due date. And system is only throwing me all this stuff after three-way match of invoice, GRN, and PO. Once these three are done, then system is only throwing me, okay, this is up for payment, and you can make the payment based on availability of fund and whatever it is. So these all things are, and there are so many tools available in the market to deploy it right away. It's just plug and play. You need not to do too much R&D or too much, development in these things. Just plug it and these are available for use. And this way, finance team or any team, so more sort of brain or analysis work they are doing instead of doing routine mundane activity. So that way, just you require some team that can ensure systems are working properly. Plus, they will be doing analysis, or they will build insight on the use data that is there.
Will the CFO become more of a strategist in the light of this
Certainly.
technology?
Certainly. See, because
Because you can articulate with all the kind of insights that this can give you, right?
And
You can
see-
articulate much better with the management, with the board.
certainly, because CFO is the person, okay, it's a hard reality that everything is required to be translated into money. Whatever you do, whatever you do, or uh, whatever activities or whatever plan you have that are required to be translated in the form of money, either immediately or in future course of action. But, and CFOs or finance guy are the best placed to uh, to take call on these stuff. So that way they are enabler to the business these days than to controller to the business. And like in the changing landscape, I keep on saying this stuff a couple of times that earlier hospitality used to be a business. Today, hospitality is part of each and every function. You need to give extraordinary experience to your counterpart, and so that he feel enriched and he can give most of his to the business. And these all things help you to grow in your journey.
So your thoughts from Yogesh, from your perspective. Do you see the role of the CFO changing because of these very disruptive technologies? Will you continue to be the CFO? Because I always say a CIO in the next 2-3 years will be a CIO, but he is not the chief information officer, but he becomes the chief integration officer. Because technology gets more and more embedded as part of your business strategy, with the business owners themselves, owning up and then driving technology. So your role is going to change. Will the CFO's role change because of all these technologies?
I mean, it has to certainly change because as you
But
rightly-
ultimately, you hold the purse strings. no?
Absolutely. I mean, no, but because of lot of data analytic tools, which so I'm sure everyone is using that, and since we are using lot of data, our CEO expect that it should not become data paralysis. It should be a proper data analysis. I mean, that is where CFO has to play big role. I mean, how effectively he can analyze the data and give the relevant information to the stakeholder. And in fact, this technology has even put more onus on the role of CFO, because everybody's expectation has now increased significantly.
So the role of the CFO will continue, right? That role is an important role. Despite technologies and all that, the CFO role will continue, and the finance guys are very much required, is what the CFO panel is saying. Of course, we can debate that later, all right? My last thing is on data privacy. And India has fallen in line with, the European countries, GDPR and equivalent, right? It could be a slightly different flavor what India has passed. But data privacy is very critical, and it's in a very nascent stage in India. People don't understand what data privacy is. And I was just sharing that I'm a data privacy activist. Whenever people ask me for more data than what is required, I will stand up and say, what is the purpose of that? Data minimization, purpose limitation, and so on and so forth. Right? And just to give you a thing, I was going in for some plan in a bank, pension plan or whatever. They were asking me from my height and weight. I said, why is that required as part of the KYC? They were asking for my mother's name in that as part of the KYC. I said, why is my mother? My mother died 3 years ago. Why do you pull her now? She's somewhere in heaven now. So if people start questioning that, it becomes very, very critical. And ultimately, anything related to compliance will circle back to the CFOs always. One final view on that. Anyone can probably, because we're running out of time now. Any view on that?
I think there's a lot of pressure, not only from regulatory, but also from the marketplace. Like you said, whenever consumer says, whenever we ask for some data, they are also worried that how this data is going to be used, how it is going to be stored with the company. There are certain personal information, whether it will be used, whether it will be deleted. Some consumers want to opt out of that, the database we have. So it becomes increasingly difficult at this stage. When you're saying, obviously, it's a very nascent stage. But what questions we are internally discussing within the organization right now is that what is the amount of data which we actually require?
Correct.
What is the amount of data which will help or trigger some kind of insights? For example, not every data.
So you're saying discussions have already started?
Yes.
So
Discussions have started. We
discussions
have
have started.
answers.
That awareness thing has started
Exactly,
within the
exactly.
organization. It's still a long way to go, because, as I said, this is very, very minimal understanding across organizations and people as far as this is concerned. My final thought.
Can I add one point?
Yeah, please.
Just so discussions have started on data privacy, and we are a B2C company, right? So we have to be very, very careful in terms of data privacy and data leakage and important sensitive information. For example, I can't allow the mobile number, because I have access to the mobile number of every individual customer. It cannot go out, right? It's a private data. So we had actually started this work about 2 years back. All I wanted to say is that when the 500-page document came out, initially it was a 500-page document on data privacy bill. Now it has become a very small document. Finally, it has petered out into some 50-page document. So we had started work 2 years back, and we believe we are in a very good shape in terms of, we have got some consultant work on it, and we have progressed a lot on implementing many of these suggestions. So I think in the next few months, we'll be in a very good shape.
This will kind of evolve, and
Yeah.
it will revolve very
Yeah.
rapidly also.
Yeah, thank you.
Just one small point. We should appreciate government as well on this, because this is kind of well balanced between securing data or individual data and innovation. They don't want to hinder innovation also in building things or in building technologies and all.
Yeah.
So that's.
You'll have to balance that
out. And it's sort of, it's not, my sense is that even the Western world will take insight or will take help of our experience or India's experience in building their own data privacy.
So finally, I think we have run out of time. The last thing is, I would say is, can you put your hands forward like this, please? Like you take an oath. I'm not able to, because I've got a frozen shoulder, right? So I'm just saying, on behalf of all the speakers here, I'm saying whatever has been expressed by all the speakers here in the panel, where their own views, nothing has been taken from ChatGPT. Thank you very much.